Hi guys, back today with a late night crafting video, and today what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you along on the journey of making my Tag Your It project for Deb, who is Crafty Texas Woman here on YouTube, and I am going to be making a gazebo and also a mini album to go in it. Now, I'm going to show you guys the mini album first because I have to get that done in order to know how big to cut the base, or how deep to cut the base for the gazebo. So the premise behind the Tag Your It is what happens is you sign up and then signups close. So like say like 5 people, it's kind of like a round robin, but 5 people, like, or you know, however many people sign up. So we'll say, you know, like 10 people sign up. So then after signups close, the tagging begins. And so everyone signs up. So there's the list of everyone who signed up, and then you choose, you go, okay, so, Deb actually chose for me to, create for her, and so she said, you know, I'm taking Stephanie, and I actually chose Lisa, and I'll show you her project after I get it. But so Deb tagged me, and then after you tag the person by a specific date, you have to send them out a package. Now it can contain anything in the package. It doesn't have to be like a paper pad and then embellishments. It can be whatever you want. So if you wanted to send them a configuration box or whatever, you just send them whatever, just enough material for them to make a project. So this is what I received from Deb, and so there's like other requirements to it. If I remember when I post this, I'll try and post it down below, but there's other requirements to it, and so to what you need to send them. So Deb sent me the 8x8 graphic 45 love notes paper collection. She sent me this beautiful box of assorted flowers in different colors that complement the paper collection. These really pretty doily frames, and then it's got, I think in here, it's got a couple of photos in there as well. A ton of different laces, and this little decorative piece is so cute, and I love this little bag topper that she sent too. But she sent me beautiful laces and trims to work with. This really, really pretty pearl and crystal piece. I thought I just saw Truly in here. She is not. And then this little bag of goodies. So in this little bag of goodies, oops, we'll just kind of spill it out. She sent me these 2 pieces of MDF. It says Memories Forever. This really thick bird cage wood piece. Some white pearls in varying sizes. This really big key. This really this metal heart piece. It's like a necklace piece. Little white frame, 2 butterflies, and a little bird. Now, with this project, obviously they send you a bunch of things, and then you can also use things from your stash. So I was trying to figure out what to make Deb, and all of a sudden Jim the Gentleman Crafter came out with a gazebo, and I'm gonna make that gazebo for this mini to go into. So I've done a little bit of prep work so far. So I used this Fisker's corner punch, and I used this heart one because I thought love notes, that would be the way to go. And I'm gonna make a simple little paper bag mini. So my paper bags are actually cut to they're 4 1/4 wide by 6 1/4 tall. So most of my mats are going to be 4 by 6. I just wanted to keep it super easy for my measurements. Each of my pages are going to have a little flap, and then I already pulled out some of the pattern papers for the Mini itself. Now, I don't think these are the Recollections bags because they are black on the inside. I'll be honest, I don't know where these bags came from. They were just in my stash, and I'm just gonna use them. So the little flaps, we'll just do the same construction that we always have. So what I did was I cut these to, did I cut them to 4? These are cut to 4 1/4. And then I scored them at 1/4 inch, so they are 4 by 6. So they're just going to fit into the corner. And they'll actually go this way, like so. And I'm going to have to clip the edges. So I cut my bags, I prepped, I cornered my flaps, I put adhesive on each of the flaps as well, and that's kind of where I am as far as that goes. I just didn't think that you guys really needed to see the full construction of these. I'm sure you guys have seen paper bag mini albums a million times before, so there's really nothing special about the construction of this. Just thought that take you along on this journey. So I've already done so Jim the Gentleman Crafter, he actually has a download, free download. So it's amazing. It's an SVG file, and so you could use it anywhere you can use your SVGs. If you have the upgraded software on your Silhouette, if you have a Brother Scan and Cut, and I believe the Cricut can also do SVG cuts. So I actually went through and the only thing that I saw, and I'm just going to place a little bit of tape here so I know when I'm in frame and when I am not in frame. So my blue line will be where I know that I am in or out of frame, but my camera is actually crooked. So sorry if the blue line bothers some of you guys. We'll just move in just a little bit. So I already mocked up all of the stuff for the gazebo, and so when I get there I'll just have all the pieces cut, because again, you guys don't need to watch because I won't move my machine up here to cut. And I'm actually going to use my Brother Scan and Cut for it because I want to use heavyweight chipboard with it, and I can't with my Silhouette. It just will not cut. So that's another bone of contention with me. I have been going back and forth with Silhouette multiple times, telling them that there is issues with the calibration of my machine, because I can't even cut what is it, 80-pound cardstock, I think it is, without there being issues. So that does not make me happy. I love my Silhouette, don't get me wrong. I get frustrated if it's not cutting correctly, and it's not. Trust me, like I've tried. They said, they have the presets for certain things that should work, and mine don't work. And what they basically told me was, well, turn down your settings, like cut it with lighter pressure multiple times. And I shouldn't have to do that. That's just my opinion. I should not have to alter that when everybody else's machine will cut correctly, but mine won't. So it's just been a back and forth battle with them, and yeah, just a little frustrated. But my Brother Scan and Cut, which I got for Christmas from my amazing husband, and I need to be I need to be watching which direction I'm going with these because I just did this backwards. Already off to a great start, guys. So let's, I think I didn't burnish that down real good. I need to be careful because I don't have any more of these bags. Oh yeah, so I'm using my Brother Scan and Cut for cutting of the chipboard. I probably should have just flipped that one bag, because then I would have just had to move one, not two. Okay, so let's what has been going on? Life, yeah. So it's been a minute since I have done one of these videos or series. It's just there has been a lot going on. I don't remember if I mentioned in the last series, but my little Truly has been sick. It started last year, right after her spay, and she started with vomiting, and so we were trying to get that under control. She would cough and then she would vomit. Mostly, I mean, sometimes food. I know it's really pleasant to talk about. Mostly just clear liquid, so it seemed to be expelled from just the force of the cough that she was having. So we were, we'd been seeing, went to the vet who did the spay, and eventually they told us it's just in her head, that there's nothing wrong with her. So we switched vets, and we were working with another vet who is amazing. He does regular veterinary stuff, but he also does naturopath stuff, and I really like that because, you know, just, you know, I'm willing to try, you know, if it works, if traditional medicines work, and that's what fixes, you know, that's what fixes it, but I'm always willing to give, you know, another avenue a shot, you know, so I'm not one to, oh my gosh, I can't get this, I'm not one to rule out alternative care, you know, not at the expense or, you know, the health of myself or obviously Truly, but we just, you know, we're exploring many different options. So anyway, so we were seeing the new vet, and things actually were improving. Then one night in January, so it was end of January, I got a call from Jack, and he was really upset, and he said Truly just passed out on his lap, and you know, he didn't know what to do, and I was like, well, I'm on my way home. So it only takes me about 15 minutes to get home. By the time I got there, she was up and moving. She was only out for probably a minute, and you know, it wasn't, I mean, but it feels like forever. When you're in that situation, it feels like forever. So I get home, and she's doing a little bit better. She's still wobbly, though, and I'm like, this is not her. So we were like, okay, well, let's feed her, you know, let's see if she'll eat. And then we're going to take her into the emergency vet. Well, when I was examining her, I noticed that she had little bruises on her belly and stuff like that. And I asked Jack, I said, when you got home, you know, did you see these? And he said, no, I would have called you before if I would have seen them. So they had happened in the last like 45 minutes to an hour of everything. And I said, well, she definitely needs to go in. So we gave her a little food and she vomited it right back up. And so we said, let's go now. We took her to, there were a couple of different vets that we were talking about taking her to, just like emergency clinics. And we decided to take her to the one closer to us, you know, just to get her there, get her in, that kind of stuff. And we go in, they're very concerned about it. They do a test, a blood test, and her platelets are critically low. She is obviously spontaneously bleeding from just because her blood's not clotting. It's really serious. We're, you know, it's emergency, so we take her to, they transfer her to a hospital, an animal hospital here, which was our other choice. And so to this day, I'm always like, oh, I just wish we would have taken her to the one initially, and saved, it ended up being about $600 at the, no, $450 at the first vet. So we take her to the other one. Okay, and now I'm going to start cutting my paper. First things first is I'm going to do the bags first, and then I will start lining the flaps, okay? So I'm going to pick out just different papers. And one of the reasons why I really like these bags right here is they are 4 1/4. And so 8 by 8, it's half a sheet. So I really like that. So we get transferred to the other one. They take her back right away. She's, you know, critical. We wait, and they're like, well, it's kind of a wait and see game. The initial estimate was between $4,600 and $6,400 for a lot of stuff, you know, that they were going to be doing with her. So we go. I'm just going to cut these to 6 first. No, I want to cut them at 4 first. So we go, we finally get home, and go through, and I'm just kind of beside myself as far as, you know, everything going on. We have to go, like, I go to work the next day, and I get a call while I'm at work, and they had to initiate CPR, and that was devastating. Just, you know, I'm at work, and they, you know, they call and they're like, by the way, we had to, you know, initiate CPR. So that was really, really tough. Then there's 2 different things that they're talking that can potentially help her. And one of them, the medicine alone is like $1,500. And, you know, we're like, you know, trying to figure out, you know, where, you know, the funds are going to come from for that. And they said, in the meantime, we can start this other course of treatment. It was a platelet infusion, or they did this this medication that releases, apparently there's a store of platelets in your body, or in their bodies, and you know, it's a medicine that will release that, the last store of it, and then see if the body will start responding and creating more of its own and using those. So we said, let's go with that, because obviously finding the $1,500 for just the medication was going to take us a minute to do. So we go in, and they do that, and they're monitoring her, and thankfully she starts responding to it, and she's going, and sorry, I've lost track. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So what was I? Okay, so she starts responding to the medication, and with not the expensive one, we had just figured out what, you know, how we were going to pay for that one, and we get the call that she's responding to it, so she stays in the hospital another couple of days. She's on the mend, she's coming home, and everything is fine for about a month. And so this is January, end of January. Then end of February, all of a sudden she passes out. Like, she gets really excited, get home from work, and she passes out. And we're like, oh my God. So we take her down to the animal hospital again. Oh, the condition that she was diagnosed with, hang on just a second. I will, it's called IDP. And it is, oops, it's IPD, I think. I can't say it. So it's idiopathic thrombopenic purpura. Anyway, that is what she was diagnosed with in January. So then, or ITP, sorry, ITP, not IDP. So she was diagnosed with that in January, and it is it's an autoimmune disease, and there is no, it's like spontaneous, okay? It can be like from like secondary to tick bites and things like that, but it is really just a spontaneous thing that happens. And so there's no rhyme or reason to it. And yeah, so we don't know what caused it. She was negative on our tick panels and everything like that. So she developed that. So we thought, okay, we're in the clear, like this is related to the vomiting. They were like, well, it could be, but we don't know, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, we were following up with that. And a month later, she, again, like I was saying, passed out. She then, yeah, sorry, it's, at times hard for me to talk about this, and then I'm concentrating on all of this. So she passed out, and so we're like, oh my gosh, like, is this the ITP again, or is this, you know, something else? And so we go back down to the hospital, and they hook her up, and it is cardiac issues. So now she is diagnosed with tachycardia arrhythmia, which is a rapid heartbeat. Again, like no signs of this before, and now all of a sudden, here we are. So she's going through that. We were following up with a cardiologist. We were, you know, doing everything that we should be doing the follow-up blood work for the ITP, all of that, and yeah. So we're going through all of that, and then all of a sudden, she starts having respiratory issues, and she started passing out. So everything seemed to be getting better, and then all of a sudden on my birthday, she was, all of a sudden, we were so on my birthday, all of a sudden she starts coughing and having issues breathing, and what was the word I'm looking for? So, sorry, I'm kind of distracted a little bit with this. So she starts having issues breathing, and then we take her down, and they're like, well, we don't know what's going on with her. They give her a medicine to kind of calm her, and it works, and they say, you know, it's probably cardiac related, follow up. So we make the appointment to follow up, and then it starts happening more and more frequently. Like every time we come home, she has another episode, and I mean, we're running to the emergency vet several times a week, and sorry, it's a little harder to talk about than initially. We had, when I remember it being, so we, so she's, anyway, we go, and, so we're running to the emergency vet. A bunch. So then sorry. So then we So then she's at the veterinary specialty hospital, and she stays the weekend, and while she was there, she had a couple of episodes, and the doctor that finally diagnosed her was she was doing an exam and happened to just discover this. And so what happened was she was having a breathing episode, and the doctor happened to look to see what was going on with her, and just happened to see that she was having her larynx was paralyzed, which is a miracle in of itself. And that is sideways, and I don't like that. I guess it's okay. So, anyway, so it happened by accident. Now, a lot of people have asked, well, why did it take so long to diagnose this? Because this is a issue that happens in large breed dogs, like golden retrievers. It happens in like just large breed dogs like that. So when doing examinations and things like that, no one was looking for this type of diagnosis. And so it was it was basically a fluke that they discovered this particular diagnosis. The vet who discovered it said, I have only ever seen this in the smallest animal that I've ever seen this in is sorry, just getting a little drink, a Brittany Spaniel, and they're not very small. So they were like, well, we've discovered this, we're going to keep her calm, we'll let you know kind of what's going on. As far as like kind of like treatment and things that we can do, because they're like, well, there is a surgery. Again, the surgery was like really expensive, and honestly, after all was said and done, I mean, it was house money, savings, baby money, that kind of stuff. I mean, she is our baby, but, that's a whole nother issue in of itself. After all was said and done, even after this last surgery, it has been close to $30,000 at the end of the day. So it has definitely been an expensive journey, but so they came back and they said, okay, so we can do this tie-back surgery, there's no guarantee, blah, 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 blah. Of course, they have to say no guarantee, because if they say guarantee and something goes wrong, that's, just the nature of people. So, Anyway, so, excuse me. So we dig just a little bit deeper, and we get the finances to actually get the surgery done. And so far, she's been doing wonderfully. We're still dealing with a little bit of the vomiting issues. She did have a little bit of pneumonia going into everything, and that's just because as she's she's coughing and vomiting, she aspirates things. I know, pleasant, right, guys? So anyway, so she's on the mend, and things are going better for her. We have to follow up now with internal medicine and get things settled as far as that goes, but definitely improved. So we're just kind of one day at a time, you know what I'm saying? So we're hoping that she continues to improve, and we can figure out with internal medicine what's causing the vomiting. Through this whole thing, little Blakey, her brother, has just been so sweet, as usual. But we kept telling him, don't get sick, buddy, don't get sick. You know, your sister has taken all the fundage for that. And 2 weeks ago, he wasn't feeling himself, and we had to take him in to the vet because he wasn't eating and he was getting lethargic. And blood work, and you know, about $1,000 later, come to find out that he was diagnosed with the ITP as well. His tick panel has come back negative. He's still not 100%. He's on prednisone and some antibiotics as well, and we have to follow up with a blood test this week, and just kind of, you know, to make sure his platelets are good, and that you know, if we can start like titrating down off of the pred and stuff like that, and then just kind of figure out where to go from there. But he is not 100%, so I'm still a little worried about him. And you know, I guess we just kind of have to go from there. But it feels like I can't catch a break, and so that's really why I haven't been doing much in the way of you know, these late night crafting videos. I haven't, you know, really been able to share. I mean, I could have shared the goings on of what was going on with Truly, but I mean, even now it's still hard to talk about it. So it's just one of those things. And you know, she's our baby, and you know, people would be like, I can't believe you would spend that kind of money, you know, on a dog. And it's like, you know, she is our baby, and so it really wasn't a choice, you know, that we were making. It was, you know, like we were doing what we needed to do. You know, you would do the same thing for your child, and she is, you know, our child. So there's where we stand on that. Yeah. So now that I've just been a Debbie Downer for the first hour of this video, well, 40 minutes. We'll kind of get and now I just have to cut these down because they need to fit on our pieces. Thankfully, it's just 1/4 of an inch off of each side, so it's not too much, but I wanted to do the basic measurements first, get all my papers picked and that kind of stuff before this one can be a little bit longer. There we go. This one I can still use as cut-aparts. Yay! Okay. Yeah. So, you know, you just do what you gotta do. And just praying that we finally can catch a break and that both little monsters are going to stay healthy and give us a chance to recover from all of that that's been going on. So yeah, it's definitely been a roller coaster. So, but yeah. I haven't decided if I am going to ink these or just let them go as is. So, okay, let's see what else. In the midst of everything, work was crazy. Still a little bit crazy still. We had a nurse tell. I'm still blown away by this. So lovely lady. Just reminded me of that Fergie song. She, wonderful person. Like, I truly like her as a person. Well, I did. Until she pulled this little stunt, and now she's not. Oh no. Whoops. I didn't need to cut that one. Okay, well, we're going to use this one. Let's look at this one. Nope, I don't want to use this one. Hang on. I'll use that one. We'll make this work. This one I only need to cut down to. Okay, so what happened was she up and quit. So everything was fine Thursday when we parted ways at the school. And Sunday night, she sent Pat a text saying, not coming back to work. And yeah, that was cute. So, oh, what time was it? It was it was like 11:30 Sunday night. Get a text. So-and-so is not going to be there tomorrow. She's not going to do her clinical hours like she had agreed to. And, yeah. So that was really fun to figure out, to scramble, to try and get these students reassigned. Luckily, we had just enough room to get those students out, and so they could do their clinical without much interruption. And then we were on the lookout for a new nurse to take her place. And there is a nursing shortage, so it is not an easy feat to find a nurse, but also here in the state, sorry if my head's in the way, here in the state of Washington, there's also the requirement that they must have in the last 3 years, at least 1 year experience supervising nursing assistants. And so that's a little bit harder to find, along with one of our nurses. She takes summers off so she can travel with her husband and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, gosh, that would be so nice. I'm so jealous. So anyway, it has been definitely tough. So we found a new nurse. Everything was going really well. And then she has been sick for a month. I feel really bad. She's a very, very sweet, nice lady. Hopefully she's going to be back with us, and everything's going to be fine. Okay, so I have all of those cut down and ready for cornering and inking, and I'm going to break right here, and I'll be back in a minute.